Hi, and it's a new year, 2026, and often at the start of a new year, I think, is this going to be a repeat of the last year, or maybe even worse? And sometimes you can get into this rut of despair. And you see, I really like known ways, and you do probably too. Like you know what's ahead, it's reliable, but I think actually, so often God wants to take us on a different path, one we may not even know was there. And um, as I said, you can go into a new year or new time, and it feels just like a rutted route, and you're going round and round and round, and you become like a slave to that rut, and it becomes like a place full of despair. And I like what Rob Bell says about despair. He says despair is what happens when there is a lack of new creation, when things are just are what they are, and there's a deep sense of impotence, and there's nothing you can do about it. And despair is a spiritual condition. Despair is when you fall under the belief and conviction that tomorrow will simply be a repeat of today. And if you've ever been in that rutted road of despair, often a deep groan rises up, a groan about the slavery you're in, a groan about the dark valley you're going through, and you're groaning for a new pathway to be seen. And you pray for the opening of your eyes to see paths you didn't even know existed. A few weeks ago, Psalm 77 joined me on the pathway as such. And in the psalm, um, the psalmist reflects this groaning, this prayer filled pathway in the story of the people of Israel and the slavery experienced in Egypt. He says this: I cry out to God. Yes, I shout. Oh, that God would listen to me. When I was in deep trouble, I searched for the Lord. All night long I prayed with hands lifted toward heaven, but my soul was not comforted. I think of God and moan, overwhelmed with longing for his help. Don't let me sleep. You don't let me sleep. I'm too distressed even to pray. I think of the good old days, long since ended, when my nights were filled with joyous songs. I search my soul and ponder the difference now. Has the Lord rejected me forever? Will he never again be kind to me? In his unfailing love, is his unfailing love gone forever? Have his promises permanently failed? Has God forgotten to be gracious? Has he slammed the door on his compassion? Yep, that's a good thing, isn't it? And I said, this is my fate. The Most High has turned his hand against me. But then I recall all you have done, O Lord. I remember your wonderful deeds of long ago. They are constantly in my thoughts. I cannot stop thinking about your mighty works. O God, your ways are holy. Is there any God as mighty as you? You are the God of great wonders. You demonstrate your awesome power among the nations. By your strong arm, you redeemed your people, the descendants of Jacob and Joseph. When the Red Sea saw you, O God, its waters looked and trembled. The sea quaked to its very depths. The clouds poured down rain. The thunder rumbled in the sky. Your arrows of lightning flashed. Your thunder roared from the whirlwind. The lightning lit up the world. The earth trembled and shook. Your road led through the sea, your pathway through the mighty waters, a pathway no one knew was there. You led your people along that road like a flock of sheep, with Moses and Aaron as their shepherds. For the people of Israel, they needed a pathway where seemingly in their groan none existed. God had brought them to the edge of the Red Sea, and the Egyptian army was chasing hard. No pathway seemingly existed, and yet, in God's economy, there was one. A pathway no one knew was there. A pathway that surprised and filled them with awe and wonder. And you can read about the whole story in Exodus 11. Look, many of the pathways we walk on are seen because others have walked on them. Thousands of feet may have compounded the soil and the path into existence. But sometimes the path is completely new, a pioneer's path. In the original Hebrew, the psalmist would have wrote to not know the heel, footprint, hind part. That the footprints weren't seen. They were not to be found. They were unknown. And yet previous providential footprints had been seen. And the psalmist rehearses all the experiences of knowing God and how the sufficiency and the provision of God. And he says this, but then I recall all you have done, O Lord. I remember your wonderful deeds of long ago. They are constantly in my thoughts. I cannot stop thinking about your mighty works. Um, One of the most helpful concepts I've learned over the years is that the brain and all its neural pathways take the shape of that which the mind rests upon. The pathway of your focus creates physical pathways in the brain. Rehearsing them over and over and over and over again strengthens them until we become, for the better or the worse, seemingly and unknowingly enslaved to them. And you would probably know people who have got something um, into them and they've just rehearsed it over and over and over again, and it's eaten them away, and they've formed a very strong neural pathway in their brain. Um, so, an often rehearsed phrase for me is this: what I focus on gets me. Focus on the negatives, the challenges, will always take me down. Focus on the positive, good things will always give me hope. Now, this is not some sort of disconnected from reality, positive thinking magic wand. Now, this is a full and deep awareness of the muck you're in, but then a focus like the psalmist on the Almighty. And God offers the invitation to new pathways, ones we didn't even know existed. The psalmist could keep rehearsing over and over and over again the trauma of their life. And golly, I've heard a lot of people do that. That's verses 1 to 10. But then a but comes in, like a door swings on a small hinge. There's like an inflection point where something changed. But then I recall. And the mind of the psalmist swings to the stories of God's providence. So I've got some suggestions about finding that new pathway. Number one is probably something you don't want to do. It's grown. Yeah, grown. Not a popular message in today's culture. Everybody wants to be happy, clappy, and just all smiles and all that stuff. But no, there is a time to groan and lament, to bear up in prayer the weight of living in a fallen and fractured world, to long for relief of slavery to the struggle of the now. The get me out of Egypt prayer might be the one that God is waiting to hear. Number two is to rehearse the goodness. Go back over the providential ways God has been with you. Go over the journals. That's what I did in the last week of this last year's. Go over the journals and look how God has provided. Reflect on the pathways God has opened to you where you once thought there wasn't a pathway. Number three is have an attitude of hopeful awareness. Dietrich Bonhoeffer would say, be careful, be watchful, wait just another short moment. Wait. Something new, quite new, will break over you. God will come. Number four, be open to the difference. Different. This is a new pathway. No one knew was there. So be open to something different from what your mind was presenting to you as an option. Something, oh my goodness, I didn't know that was an option. Oh, well, be open to that. And number five, take the steps. Pathways need to be walked on. And they invite a first very tentative step. Take that millimeter step, small and highly achievable. Hey, and I've written a poem. I need a new pathway, one that no one knew was there. Waves part before me, dry land upon to kneel. I need a new pathway, a way for them to come back home. I sit and watch down the path, waiting for those who roam. I need a new pathway, one that no one knew was there. I blow across the waters, dry land does appear. I open my eyes to watch, I quiet my heart to wait. Open up the watered sea, trusting your hand is great. I dip my toes into the tide, see water slip away. A new pathway does appear, fills me with holy fear. What if in the way I've travelled I've missed so many clues to pathways you have created, known only to you? I take this new moment, watching for a path, hopeful anticipation, good shepherds, rod and staff. Hey, share this with somebody else. Perhaps they need this message in this new year or whenever you get to see this. Leave a comment down below. Send me an email. There's all the details down below in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. That's a good thing too. But I pray that there would be a hopeful openness and awareness to you of a new pathway, one that you didn't even know was there. Okay, bye.